Welcome to Ion Franchising.
Hello and welcome back to another fabulous episode of Ion Franchising, and I'm your host, Lance Graulich. So today, perhaps you had too many margaritas last night, or you're stressed, or what if you haven't slept well in about a week? That's probably me. My dogs are a little crazy these days. Or you had a massive cheat meal. Well, it's time to get that shit out. Well, guess what? Today, I have two amazing ladies representing a crazy concept, a concept that really didn't exist until now. She is a huge wellness disruptor. Welcome, my friend, Miss Courtney Yeager and Miss Gabby Sacco to the show. Hi, ladies.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi,
Thank you
Lance.
so much for having us on today.
Thank you.
My pleasure, and I am so excited to have you here. So, Courtney, let's start with the obvious, right? For those listening, they're like, what the heck is going on here? So, what is the Tox?
The Tox is a blend of lymphatic and digestive body sculpting, all with the intention to rid your body of excess water retention, regulate your digestive system, and really just get you back to your best self.
I love it. Well, everybody wants to feel better these days. Last I checked, we're not doing a really good job of that, right?
Right.
Exactly.
So, Gabby, welcome to the show. Talk a little bit about your relationship with Courtney and how that came to be, and then we'll dive into some fun stuff.
Yeah, so I have been in the franchising industry for about 5 years now. I actually have a junk removal franchise. I never thought I was going to be in the junk removal industry. Me selling junk, never thought that was a thing, but have been doing it 5 years now. Very grateful for the opportunity. And I just wanted to get into franchising development. So just go on the other side of things and just help business owners really scale their business and make something huge out of themselves. So I got partnered with Franchise Fastlane, and the Tox landed in my lap. And I'm just so grateful to have Courtney and Ryan and Jessica on my team. And it's just been a blessing. So now we're working together just to scale it and grow it really big. And we're just excited to what's to come.
So you said really big, perfect segue. Courtney, so many brands that I've been in franchising almost 30 years, and I can't believe how many brands only have maybe one corporate location and do the rest through franchising. You have how many corporate locations open?
So we now have 12 corporate locations. I know I definitely took not the typical route. I wanted to really take my time getting into franchising. So we opened our first corporate location in LA, and then we went to New York. And since then, I've kind of just sprinkled them around the US, tested a bunch of markets. And now I feel that, our concept is not a concept anymore. It's a proven successful business. And now we're able to scale and franchise.
I love it. So just truly share with everybody, what's the backstory here? Because the obvious to me is, how did this really come about in the first place? I'm guessing you might not have been feeling well, or someone something happened. This is a personal business, I could tell.
It is 100%. So I'm a born entrepreneur. I mean, since I was 2 years old, always trying to sell something. But in my adult life, it's always been around health, wellness, and fitness. I was a former fitness franchisee. I had a few very successful clothing lines, designed and did the marketing for a lot of private label, huge fitness franchises. So always around that self-love, empowerment, fitness. But the clothing industry is no joke. Like it's just, I can't even put it into words. It's hard, right? And it's non-rewarding. You're working 15-hour days and never getting that good customer feedback. It's always the negative. So I had my 2 children, and I was definitely overworked and not feeling so great. My digestion has always been terrible. I was just feeling sluggish and gross. And I've always taken the holistic route to everything. So I started doing my research on the lymphatic system, and I was very shocked with how understudied and how the treatments were so unreadily available in the US compared to other countries. So I started seeking out, mentors to help me formulate the technique. And, my husband called me crazy at the time. He was like, "You're so good with your clothing lines. What are you doing?" And long story short, I opened the first one in LA, and right away it was a massive success. We had every celebrity knocking on our door, like couldn't get appointments. And, here we are.
I love it. So let's dive a little bit into, you said celebrities knocking on your door. You opened the first location. You're the first to market with this type of thing. This isn't like a waxing studio where people know what waxing,
Of course.
is, or, so how did that go? Like, you're putting out there that, hey, we're going to do lymphatic draining. It's going to help your digestion. You're going to feel better, but you didn't have the proof of concept then. So what were the biggest outtakes, if you will, or takeaways from people, and what were those benefits that they immediately touted?
Social media has a huge play in our success. Not only are we offering the wellness benefits that, of course, go along with cleansing your lymphatic system, but you also get an immediate aesthetic result. So, picture this. It's the week before Coachella in LA. Every model, every celebrity needs to get their body right? So, I did a social media post with a really killer before and after. And these women are coming in 60 minutes later, they're leaving 5 inches slimmer because they're just holding on to so much fluid and water retention. So that one social media post was, the reason why we are where we are today. So, it's crazy.
That is fantastic. As everybody knows listening that's looking at franchise businesses or opportunities, marketing is a big piece, and brand awareness is a huge piece of why you join a franchise. Besides the system, the blueprint, and the proven concept overall, and I call it the profit path. Show me the money where you can actually make money. And clearly you guys have a major head start. You've just launched franchising. So let's go to Gabby. What is the typical investment? And for those listening and playing along at home, the franchise disclosure document is that godly document that everybody gets when you're investigating franchises. It has 23 items in there. And so in there, you'll see an investment breakdown. And Gabby, what's the typical investment these days?
Yeah, the investment for a single territory is anywhere from $235,000 to $396,500. That's just for a single territory. For multi-unit, it's anywhere from $277,000 to $698,000. So just depending there.
Yeah, and obviously you guys are going to have a lot of people that are going to commit to doing multiple units for sure. I would imagine 3 or
Absolutely.
more for something like this. What is the square footage? I am sure that the New York store is a lot smaller because of the real estate, right? It's like a shoebox, probably.
It's actually not. In New York, we have a
It's a nice size.
You know what I mean. Everything in New York is tiny because of real estate.
Of course.
So we typically say between 1,500 and 2,500 square feet. I would say 1,800 square feet is like a sweet spot. I do have some locations as small as 1,200. So it really just depends on the market and how many units you're doing within that market. We really strive to get at least 5 treatment rooms in each studio.
Got it. What's the average ticket or the cost of doing this?
Sure, it's $249. So they range anywhere from like $199 all the way up to $425. We also sell retail products as well, but our average ticket is around $250.
And how often would customers come in? A typical fast food place, when I was in the restaurant business and owned restaurant franchises, we talked about heavy users, people that would come in really frequently to restaurants. What is your usage, if you will? Is this like every month?
Sure. So not you comparing us to fast food or anything, but yeah, so every client's different. We always come up with a customized treatment plan for them. The average frequency is about every 2 weeks for the first 3 to 5 sessions. And then from there, it's maintenance once a month, once every 6 weeks. We always say after you come in for your first visit, we'll really work with you, see how your body's flowing, see what you have going on, your lifestyle, and then, really customize a plan for you. But of course, getting those clients back in and getting them on a plan is our goal.
That's absolutely fantastic. So who is your ideal franchisee? Obviously, you and Gabby and the team, Courtney, have come up with this sort of template. Who is that perfect franchisee? I mean, is it someone that just has a passion for wellness and has a few bucks? Tell me.
You stole the words out of my mouth. So passion is huge for me. I want somebody who really understands our brand and has the passion for wellness, nutrition, and just overall gets it, right? But yeah, I mean, I'm open to conversations with everybody. I feel like I always go on vibes. I just want to keep, the brand culture that we presently have and just expand our family.
Love it. So Gabby, give us the process. People listening that are getting excited, how do they, so whether I refer somebody or you find somebody through another source, organically or otherwise, how does this process work? First call probably with you, and then it gets more serious, right? Shit gets
Correct.
real
So
deep.
exactly, Lance. So we have a 7-step process. It's a discovery process that we go through. So we have the first call, which is going to be our introduction call, just learning about the brand's history and the concept behind the talks and really what differentiates us from all the other franchise concepts out there. So we get to learn about the candidate, a little bit more about their their personal background, and just why they want to get into franchising. So that's the first call there. The second call is unit economics, which it's more a financial deep dive of all the numbers. So that item 5, the item 7, the item 19, just a breakdown so they don't have to go through a 200 to 300 page document by themselves. So just to make it a little bit more digestible for them. And then we have steps. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And then we have steps 3 and 4. That's kind of a combined call. So any questions that they have after they receive that FDD and review it, we'll go through any questions they have. And then we go into territory mapping. So we just find certain demographics for their area where a studio's location would be most successful. Throughout that process, we have validation and leadership calls where we have pre-existing franchisees coming on the calls and just answering any questions that the candidates may have from like an operations perspective, a staffing perspective, or any numbers that maybe I can't go in depth about. And also a leadership call where Courtney is going to be on the call and just connecting with candidates too with any questions they have. And after that, when a candidate is about 90% ready to go to confirmation day, we'll send them out to New York City where they'll start getting introduced to Jessica McLean, which is my VP. And she
Hi,
preps
Jessica.
them.
We love Jessica.
Yes.
She's
Hello.
amazing.
We always love Jessica. But yeah, Jessica's going to prep the candidate for C day. They go out to New York City, which is the Soho location. Maybe towards the winter time, you may do C day in Las Vegas because it's a little warmer out there. But we do the C day. That's some time where they get to look at the studio, connect with the founders, and just have that last conversation to see if they want to award them a territory. Then franchise agreements come into play, and then we welcome them on the team. So that's just a little briefing. Yeah.
It's so exciting. So let's roll into training now. So once you find the fantastic candidate that Courtney blesses and approves and is so excited to bring into the Tox family, what is training like? What is that commitment? How much in market is training in Soho or?
So I prefer to do the training at the franchisee's location. I find
Okay.
that it's always best for us to really prep their staff and prep the owners for exactly what their day to day is going to look like. So we do have a training team. The talks, again, we're going to talk about how unique it is, but you're learning a technique. We're training your staff, your estheticians on the talks technique. So we need to make sure that it's done absolutely perfect. And our team won't leave your location until I feel that it's better than our locations.
I love it. I love those standards. Talk a little bit, Courtney, about the requirements. You mentioned esthetician, that type of position. Is that what it is in all states?
Every state has different regulations. Of course, we encourage franchisees to do their research on their state regulations. There is no federal requirement for body sculpting. So in most of our states, we've been able to hire estheticians. That's primarily what we're hiring. They're readily available. We've had really, really great success with having even a wait list to work for us because it is so unique, and, it's not a typical facial or a typical spa. It's so different. So we've had great success with it, but again, every state has different regulations.
Yeah, for sure. So marketing, my favorite subject with any franchise brand, but yours, it could be my favorite subject, period, because your TikTok, your Instagram, your social media in general is phenomenal. You have so many people out there that are bragging about how much they feel better because of the talk. So talk a little bit about marketing and how that works for franchisees, because it's a big part of the franchise world. There's a lot of franchisors, big and small, that sort of let the franchisees do a lot of different things. And sometimes I'm like, it's too much control for the franchisee. The franchisees might be happy, but you guys kind of have the ability to manage all of that for them, right?
So I'm happy that you brought this up. Social media is a huge part of our brand. It's been our driving force to, gain all this customer traction that we have. So I feel super fortunate, that we're so big on social media. But, when we started, that was my background: marketing, branding, social media. That's what I thrive in. So to hand that over to a franchisee, it feels wrong, right? I feel like the brand standard can be butchered super quickly. And that's what I really, really want to try to avoid. So we're excited to say that, corporate, my team, my direct team that I've trained, that I have my hand in the pot all day long, we are the ones that are running the social media marketing for our franchisees, so they can focus on the face-to-face business relationships and we can focus on the back end.
I love it. So let's talk about staff a little bit. I know this is a pretty lean team, or a low employee count, if you will. How many employees do you need? You mentioned up to five stations, or studios.
Sure. So I mean, lean staffing is where we want to be. I always say start with a manager and a front of the house staff member. And then to open a studio, we don't want to have more than 5 technicians to start. We would even say start with 3 to 4, and then in 120 days, let's, do another training. We don't want their payroll costs high. We want to make sure that, the technicians that we have on staff are super busy, and, we get, especially in a new market, that we get that flow flowing. So, again, I have 12 corporate locations. I've been through it all. I've done all the trainings. We know what works. So I will definitely be coaching our franchisees through that process to ensure that they run the same way that we do.
I love it. So because you've been in the world of franchising before, I tend to ask questions because, relating to your experience, obviously. And for those listening that aren't sure what type of franchise they should be getting into, how do they know what is the right franchise for them? There's a lot of options, like picking stocks. There's a lot of franchises you can pick as well. So I know you have to be passionate about this one. And thank goodness this isn't one of those terribly boring businesses. This is something that people are going to come to you with a major passion, obviously, for wellness. But how do you know? How can you tell that a brand is right for you?
So of course they have to be passionate about the brand that they're getting into, but I think that they need to look at the support systems that are in place. My past with franchising, when I was a franchisee, they didn't have those systems in place. I felt like, I signed the franchise agreement and I was on my own. So, I mean, I really wanted to make sure prior to getting into franchise that I have the support systems there to withstand this growth. So I think it comes down to, the corporate team and just all of the systems that are in place to make sure that they're successful.
I am so glad that you brought up what you just did, because I found over the years in the world of franchising, support and lack of marketing or inappropriate marketing are the two biggest complaints that franchisees might have about a brand. And the fact that you're cognizant, obviously marketing sounds like it's perfectly taken care of because you're doing it. People can open up social media and go, holy cow, I want to join this brand. That's obvious. And seeing what influencers are putting out there about the talks, that's worth its weight in absolute gold. But the fact that you understand the support aspects because you've been there, done that, is amazing. So what do we miss? Final thoughts, final words of wisdom for those listening on the talks. Gabby, you go first. We're going to give Miss Courtney the final words.
I mean, I would say what we all want to know, the numbers too. So,
oh my God, let's talk about the numbers. Show me the money.
Of course. So the average gross revenue is $997,000. This is all in our FDD. We have an adjusted net income of $257,000, and our average margins are 25.8%. So very good numbers. Yes.
Love it. Fabulous. And again, you're going to have multi-unit operators left and right. A lot of people aren't going to just choose to do one of these for obvious reasons. Great economies of scale. So that is fabulous. Gabby, anything else on that?
No other numbers. I mean, client retention rates on our FDD as well, they're a little bit shy of 60%. So I think that's something huge to always have those clients keep coming in, and just generating more revenue for your business is huge.
Love it. Love it. So Courtney, you get the last word. So the talks, you guys are just starting out. Tell everybody about you again.
I think that you guys covered it so well. I would just say, don't be scared of a unique business, right? Like, we are first to market, but we have so much to offer, and to be able to get in at this point of our journey is really crazy. I mean, we're still operating like small business as far as like me being so involved, right? It's like, we're going to make sure that our franchisees are set up for success, and, it's copy and paste from here. We've done it. It's successful. And now it's time to grow.
I love it. My wellness disruptor friend, Miss Courtney Yeager, Gabby Sacco, thank you both for being here. The talks technique. I can't wait to get mine done so I could sleep perhaps. And, that cheat meal, that fast food meal that I referenced earlier, it's that cheat meal I have to get rid of. Thanks for being here, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for listening today. Please like, follow, and subscribe. This is Lance Graulich. Until next time.